But they don't want the water to come down all the way to Los Angeles and the Central Valley, where we're constantly forced to ration. You have droughts. We're rich people in Beverly Hills. We don't feel so sorry for them, but I do actually. You know, they pay millions of dollars in taxes. They're taking a shower. They're told to hurry up. You're only allowed a small amount of water when they take a shower. That's why rich people from Beverly Hills, generally speaking, don't smell so good, you know. Typically. You ever notice they're not great? Their hygiene is not good, but it's forced to be that way.
On Friday, former President Donald Trump spoke at the California GOP convention and went off on a rather lengthy tangent regarding the water crisis in the state of California. Now, that has been alleviated somewhat as a result of heavy rains this year, but nonetheless, Trump had a lot to say. Let's watch.
So now in Los Angeles, when you have a new home, you have faucets, washing machines, dishwashers, all of the things, but very little water is allowed to come out. Like, as an example, I stayed in one of those houses and they had a shower head. And I want to really work hard on my hair and I don't want to take it. And I turned on the water. I thought the pipes were broken. They said no. They call it a restrictor. They have restrictors in the thing, so no water comes out. So I'm standing outside, drip, drip.
True. But honestly, true. Not entirely true. I'm gonna debunk a little bit of what he just said in just a moment. But Cenk, listen, his energy and his ability to essentially get that entire, look, I know it's the GOP, the Republican, supporters in that audience. So of course they're gonna love him, they're gonna laugh. But are we really gonna pretend like he's not entertaining while he gives these speeches completely off the cuff?
No, but he's entertaining like Ronald McDonald. Although to be fair, Ronald McDonald has always been creepy. So like I get it. You watch him, it's hard not to laugh, right? But I'm laughing at him. I mean,
are you? I mean, what he said there was true.
No. First of all, low water pressure might be true, but most of what he said is not true. He said the people in Beverly Hills all smell.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm not going around sniffing them. Maybe he did, and he noticed something that I never had.
No, it's absurd.
It is. That is absurd. But what he's saying about the water restrictions is not absurd, and the restrictor in the faucets and things like that in the shower heads, that is true. Those restrictors, you literally cannot buy a shower head that does not have the restrictor. And then Californians were getting around it by basically taking the restrictor out. And now there are only certain types of shower heads that can be sold in the state that not only have the restrictor in it, but it does not allow, the way it's designed, it doesn't even allow the flow of water to flow with high pressure, even without the restrictor.
I know, but 98% of what he said about it was nonsense. So the restrictor thing is true, and we're the fairest show in America, and we tell you that. But he talked about how California is letting all the rainwater go into the Pacific Ocean. That's not true. He talked about how you could.
Does go into the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah, he talked about how California told you not to take showers. That's not true. Just totally made it up. Very standard stuff. By the way, if you're the people who live in that house that hosted him, you should be furious with him. I mean. Well, who else has he met with in Beverly Hills? So I guess he thought that family smelled. Jesus, what a terrible person, right? And so, I mean, yeah, it's funny like BOZO the clown, but I mean, 98% of what he says is never true.
So there are kernels of truth in what he said, right? So about 25% of our rainwater over the last year did in fact flow into the Pacific Ocean, which is a massive waste of water considering the fact that we keep dealing with these record long droughts. So when we get rain, it's really important that we make the most of it. But our infrastructure in the state of California isn't built to essentially capture all of the rainwater. And as a result, we lose about 25% of it. Now, instead of focusing our resources on building the infrastructure necessary to make do with the rainwater we do get, we are throwing billions away toward this high-speed rail project that has existed for I don't even know how long. It's been around for decades. It is never gonna be completed. The terrain that we're dealing with in California makes it impossible for the high-speed rail to come to completion. And so, but it doesn't matter. There are people who make money off of the construction of it, so we're gonna keep throwing billions and billions of dollars. while there's no law indicating that Californians needed to take shorter showers, the governor, Newsom, had urged Californians to take shorter showers with the highly restricted water pressure that they're dealing with, which makes it incredibly difficult for, let's say, women to wash the shampoo and conditioner out of their hair. So like, these are frustrations that a lot of people are experiencing. So when he touches on those frustrations, even when he embellishes the stories and makes up this, situation in Beverly Hills, people are willing to put the embellishments aside because they are frustrated with how there are some solutions to a very real problem we have in regard to drought. And those solutions seem to kind of fall by the wayside as our local lawmakers and our governor focus their energies on other nonsense that makes life even worse for Californians.
So the problem is that he states problems loudly, and then people assume that he means the real problems, the ones that you're pointing out, Anna, but he doesn't actually say that. Like, so for example, we were not supposed to water our lawns in the middle of the worst drought that we had. And it was partially not watering lawns, but it wasn't, there was no restriction on showering. But he says that and everybody then believes it. Based on the suggestion that you mentioned, he said that we should dampen the forest in California, and that's the real problem. That's because he doesn't want to address climate change. That's also partly because a lot of his donors are fossil fuel companies. So he's a terrible guy who makes up crazy lunatic stuff all the time. But unfortunately, in politics, everything is marketing. So when he screams loudly and the Democrats whimper, people accidentally believe that maybe he's pointing out problems that he could solve when his solutions make no sense at all. But it would be nice if Democrats also cared about being loud about our actual problems in California or the nation.
Thanks for watching. If you become a member, you get to watch all this ad-free, except for, of course, this ad. Still, hit the join button below.